Said we are.
Said we are. Let's see. I think it does a minute countdown. Okay, I guess we are live. There we are. I'll click this off. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we are live.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, welcome to today. Welcome everybody.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching this on the recording, on the replay, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We would encourage you to join us. We're starting this new series, Marriage and Money. We want to do a little live show every Wednesday, and get real, talking about our thoughts and feelings about money as married couples.
Right.
And I hope this will encourage some confidence and stimulate conversation with you and your spouse.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah. So I know we've learned a bunch over our 28 years of marriage and have had plenty of mistakes along the way. So we can help you from a position of practical experience, because we're much better now.
Yeah. Or one thing we're much better at is communicating and talking about our money.
Yes, that's right. So
without fear.
They say what is it? The first step for transformation is honesty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to transform your relationship with money and with your spouse, then we've got to be courageous so we can be honest and transparent. And that's what we're going to talk about. So we got a great show today. We're going to run through 12 questions that you and your spouse can ask each other and talk about. So we're hoping these 12 questions will just give you some direction, right?
Yeah.
So that you are not fumbling about, well, what do I say, or how do we talk about this, or whatever. We got 12 great questions from a world-renowned couples therapist, right? We've taken this from Esther Perel. There was an article on CNBC that I found, and thought that these were some great questions to help us out with this conversation.
Right.
And there's one thing that I saw that she had. I don't know if it was on her website or just where it was, but she said over the years of her couples counseling practice, she said so many people come to her to talk about what they are fighting about,
right,
and not what they are fighting for. Isn't that good? So I just want to encourage you. Let's talk more about what we're fighting for, because as husband and wife, we are on the same team, right? We're playing together on this, and the more that we can be fighting for something together, have a shared common goal, the better your marriage is going to be.
That's right.
Right? So the more intimacy that you can share and experience together by having something to fight for. So I really like that. Not what you're fighting about, because there's plenty to fight about.
Oh, man.
But let's fight for something significant and important. Okay. So do you want to start us off on the 12 questions, or do you have any comments or anything you want to share as we get started here?
No, let's just get scooching along.
Scooching along. Okay. Very good.
Number one is, what does having money mean to you?
Yeah, so that's a great icebreaker, right, for you and your spouse. I mean, you might want to do this on an official money date, or just set out a little bit of time where you can talk without interruption.
Right.
But so, what does money mean to you?
And I think that this is probably one. It is security.
For you, the Meaning money means security for you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
Okay.
it does.
That's good.
And because of that perception, and that's a pretty big one, that is a big influence in how I borrow and save and spend money.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you earn and save and give and spend
And invest, like
and
you
invest.
said, right? It brings it just brings security. It's
Right.
yeah.
So one of her comments was that, for some people, it's more about the security, right? Or comfort. And for others, it'll be more about control and power, right? Or for opportunities.
Right.
And I think you're going to find that a lot. Obviously, as couples, opposites attract. So a lot of times we're going to have very widely different opinions about this, which can be challenging, but it's good because you complement one another, right? So it's kind of like, saver, spender, right? Security, I want opportunity.
Right. Well, and like you said, security and comfort, the comfort of security. And if I'm like that, that means, and I am having it and not having to worry about it, because he loves the opportunity. He's going to want to be not spending it, but investing it, more risky. I'm not so risky, but just learning. So whatever it is, then when we want to make a purchase or what we're doing with it, that we communicate.
It takes more communication for us, right? Because we have to make sure that we're really understanding how each other feels about something and can make a good decision. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this gets to really some of the heart of your worldview, your values, and your beliefs. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Very important. Okay.
It is.
So there's number one question that you can and your spouse can talk to get to know each other a little bit better. Number two question is, what does it mean to be good with money? And I like this. So for some people, being good with money is being very responsible, right? It means you're paying all of your bills on time, paying your credit cards off in full every month. You're not having any late fees or extra bank charges of any kind, right? You're very concerned about your credit score. So that is being good with money. You have an emergency fund, or you're actively funding it. You're saving up to have an emergency fund.
Basically, you're tracking everything. You have a schedule of, the checkbook, whatever. You have a schedule of doing those things, whether it's a weekly or a monthly basis. Yeah.
Did you have any other thoughts about what it might mean to someone to be good with money? Because that's what I thought. There's all those things, but maybe someone else will have a different perspective.
Well, what was your thing about? Well, what does it mean? What's bad with money? We were talking earlier.
Yeah, maybe some of you will think that you're bad with money, right? So why? Like, why is it that you feel you're bad with money, and what would be the the opposite of that? What would it mean to be good with money, right? If your identity is that you're bad with money, like, we got to address that, right? You need to work through that and begin the mindset shift so that you can start to visualize your future self and see what it's going to be like to be good with money.
Because if you think that, then the spouse is gonna, I'm not so good with it, you do it. And then it's like, then he or she do it, and then it's like, why did you do it
without me?
Well, you said you were bad with money, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
Then just work on improving.
And the encouragement is you can change your belief and your identity about money, right? I mean, you want to just visualize your future self and how you would ideally like to be with money, and then start behaving like that person now, right? And every little thing that you do that's positive in that direction will be confirmation that you are that person, and it'll build your confidence and it'll help you get there faster. But that's good. Yeah, we got to really work on our identity with money, because that's so important. It's because it shapes your behavior. Right.
Everything you do.
Yeah. All right. So that's a good question.
Yeah.
I like that. There's some issues we could work through there. What about another question that would be a good idea for couples to talk about?
Did you talk about money with your family when you were
Growing up as a kid?
Sitting around the dinner table, 5:30.
So what are your earliest
SpaghettiOs
memories of money as a child? Right?
Well, and did your folks talk about money?
And what did they talk about it?
Yeah, I think it's different. The memories versus did they actually talk about money? And I had to think about that. Very little, but my mom and dad never argued about money. I don't recall ever hearing an argument about money, but
that's nice.
Right. So what I remember being taught was you tithe and it's 10%. So when we were itty bitty, dad would give us the quarter and then encourage us to, are you giving in church when we had our first little jobs, whatever. So tithe and save. So with saving all your quarters and sticking them in the cards, the quarter cards, the dime cards, the nickel cards.
Oh yes, right.
Insert and then you take it to the bank, right? That's saving and putting them in the bank with the little savings card and they'd stamp it right on everything. And you had 1 penny interest after who knows how long. So it was tithing and saving and then just don't spend your money. Don't spend. I mean,
don't spend.
Yeah, save your pennies. That was the advice that I got as a kid.
There's some good nuggets in there, though, for
it
sure.
Is. But once again, mom and dad never
talked about it.
But they never fought about it either.
That's big.
I recall mom maybe taking notes, pulling out the typewriter when dad would be doing the budget, and so they would be. But there was no fighting ever about funds, about money.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. How about you?
When you brought that up, I don't really recall my parents fighting about money either. And I know that there were some times that were difficult, and I know that they were finding ways to work through it.
Did you talk?
And we were involved
was there
in that.
There's something going on, kids? Over chicken dinner one night, and so that we're gonna have a family meeting. Like, we did not do that. There was not even that. So did you have family meetings over if something went emergent for a season?
Not a lot. I can't. I mean, there weren't a bunch of those kind of meetings. I know at one time having my dad talk to me about, a financial setback and just the plan to overcome. Right, which was pretty cool because we were involved with that. That was where we got into, fixing and flipping houses and learned how to do all that kind of work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a great experience for us as kids, learning how to do all that. But okay,
more to think about.
Yeah.
What next one?
Next one, number 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate how we are doing with our money? So that's the question for you and your spouse, right? Ask each other, on a scale of 1 to 10, baby, how are we doing with spending our money?
Spending our money.
Because you got earning money, giving money, saving money, and spending money, right? So how are we doing on our spending of our money?
I think overall we are doing really well.
Do you?
In all areas of it. Because we have come out of a horrible pit of not doing well.
Guys, you have no idea how horrible we were.
I mean, most of it was such a lack of communicating, though, and I simply wouldn't, because I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And he was so bogged down. He was dealing with his own things, and I was dealing with my own, and it came to a point to where it was a must.
So a little quick backstory.
To communicate and to talk about it.
I was in Ontario, Canada, and Tara was a single mom in Ohio, and we met playing music. We made beautiful music together, and we got at a wedding, and then we got married a year later. And so I moved from Canada to the United States, but she was a single mom with 4 children. So in one foul swoop, I got a new country, a new wife, 4 kids, and I started a financial business.
Mhm.
Holy cow. Like you have no idea of the stress and the challenge that was. Plus we had our own issues from being divorced. And oh my gosh, it was just so challenging. I'll use that word.
We overcame a lot.
Yeah. But we know what it means to not communicate well about money, because we did. I mean, we just had a horrible time as getting started with that. But we're dramatically improved, so there's hope. You can change your life.
You can.
Woo! So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give us now?
Oh man, it's up there. 8, 9, 10.
Whoa!
I mean, it's
depending on the mood, the flow.
I guess 10 would be.
8 or 9.
I'm thankful. Yeah.
I mean, I can't even compare.
Well, and I guess what's important is it stays up there. There's not the pendulum.
Right.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. Okay. So next question you can ask your spouse is, if I spent $100 on something and didn't tell you, would you be upset with me? And what about if I spent $1,000 and didn't tell you? Would you be upset?
And even with that, back in the day, maybe, but we just don't do that anymore because we talk about our money, everything. We really do, because we do, and maybe some of that will change a little bit. But I mean, for a while, it's like I think we.
That was part of our recovery, right?
It was
just the complete, honest, and transparency.
Right.
So we talked about everything.
Yes, because physically we were a mess, and spiritually and financially, all of those 4 things. And so there was recovery out of, financially, spiritually,
mentally,
and
physically. Yeah.
So working on
all 4 of those areas: being physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, financially fit.
But I think it is important to or maybe it is, to decide anything over, $100,
a certain amount,
or $500 in the home.
Right. We got to have some freedom and flexibility, because something's just not worth it.
Right.
But whatever that number is, and then honor that and honor your spouse with it. Right.
And a big part is that, there's trust, trust
in
your marriage relationship. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting a little more difficult.
Yeah.
This question, number 6. What is your biggest money regret or mistake? Maybe we can make that lesson that you learned.
Right.
Instead of calling it a mistake, it's a lesson.
Yeah.
Right. Biggest money mistake or regret. Again, I want to encourage you to be honest with your partner on this. I mean, it's a highly personal question, but it'll help you get to understand each other better. It'll help you draw closer when you understand. I mean, because the one common denominator among all people is that we understand and can share in a painful experience.
Right.
We all know what pain is. If you've been on the earth for a while, you understand what pain is, right? So that can help draw you together when you talk about those experiences that are a big regret or big mistake.
Right.
I mean, lesson.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's something that you've already talked about, and it's not something that you want to revisit, or like you've already worked through it and you're thankful. It doesn't give you, there's no redeeming value.
Right.
And, if it's going to be, is it going to be more helpful or less helpful? Because we all make mistakes, or not sure that was the best.
So maybe in talking about it, you don't want to relive it, but maybe you can talk about what you learned from the process, and then how you will respond differently together as a couple going forward. It's like, okay, we had this thing happen and we don't like how we handled it.
Right.
Can we agree on how we want to handle it if something like this comes up again?
Right.
And we get to that point here in one of our things, right? Okay. Question number 7. What is it?
And this is another one that just doesn't really apply. I mean, it used to, but what keeps you up at night about your finances? You ought not be kept up at night because of money. We are to be resting. We are to cast our cares and be anxious for nothing. And I don't say that lightly.
Right.
I believe with all my heart that God cares for us, and in the craziness, and we have had crazy. And
but this is a big deal, because depending on the survey or the statistic that you
Right.
look at,
they do stay up. It's awful. Stress,
yeah,
sleepless
over
nights.
70%, sometimes over 75% of people are stressed out about their
Awful.
money.
Awful.
And it's a leading cause of divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Financial pressure, anxiety, stress, failures. It's a leading cause of divorce. So what keeps you up at night about money, and have those real conversations?
Once
and then
again,
how can we
just
mitigate,
right.
manage it differently, better? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even just the process of talking about it is going to be therapeutic.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's worse if you don't talk about it.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Keep going. What is this one?
What will we do when we disagree about money and just can't see eye to eye? I really like this. Right? So what do you think?
Well, I'm going to go back once again. I mean, it applies kind of, sort of, but I mean, we've learned and we continue to learn that we are a team, and there's just not much that we don't, and we don't cave. There are times, are you caving? Did you give in? Just, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. If there is a little bit of holdback, then it's all about the honesty, though.
Right.
You have to be honest.
Yeah. And I think one of the things we've learned too is it's okay to say, I'm not ready to commit to that or make that decision yet. Can I have some time to think about it?
Yeah.
And the decision is not always final. I mean, you can say, well, let's try this and see how it works. And can we revisit again and then maybe try something different?
Right. Like, okay, that's great. How about for 30 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, we had a situation just recently where it was like, I'm not ready to make that decision. I'm uncomfortable with it. Let me think about it. And then as I thought about it and prayed about it, it's like, you know what, I can do this that you're asking me to do. And
it was something that I was like not thrilled with. And so I brought it to him. And and you were like, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. My initial reaction was, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to change it.
Right.
But after some thought, it's like, this is important to you, and it makes good sense for us. It just wasn't what my plan was. Right.
My response, though, in knowing it wasn't, I didn't get all fussy and upset that he needed time. I've learned that he does need time.
Because I like to process stuff.
That's right.
Right. I'm methodical and
I'm not going to force my way. And once again, taking the time, honesty, communicate, speak.
So
in loving kindness.
And remember, just if you need to make a decision, make it. But no, you can make another one.
Yes.
If it's not working, you can make another one.
I love that. Yeah.
Right. Get all the information you can to make the best decision in the moment, and then make the decision. But then recognize and be flexible that you can make another decision. Like you can change it. Remember this: your brain is not wired for perfection. Your brain is wired to adapt. Right? We got to be resilient. We need to adapt, and that's what your brain's wired for. So practice resiliency, practice adapting to whatever situation you find yourself in, and you'll be able to function a whole lot better. Okay, cool. Number 9, what would we do if one of us were laid off or lost a job or lost income? What would we do?
Yeah, that has to do with the emergent situation, and
right. And this is a great
need to think about that, because
a great exercise for you and your spouse to go through is like, if there's an emergency situation, like an emergency financial situation, how can we respond?
Yeah, well, and especially if like it is an emergency surgery that you need to have, and then you cannot go back to work. So you will be able to, but you were not prepared for the emergent surgery or for how long it's going to take for recovery. Did not plan for that.
So we want to encourage you to have a spending plan, right? Where you're directing every dollar. You've got a plan for your income, but then have a second plan, which is the contingency, the backup, the emergency plan. Right?
Because the peace of mind fund, the emergency,
your peace of mind fund / emergency fund
is not specifically for something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you want it there, but you've got to have a separate spending plan,
Right.
right? So if we lose an income stream,
Yes.
then what's our plan? If it cuts into, right, what's your plan, right? So maybe it's like, okay, we get rid of this app and this app and this app and this cable and this luxury and this luxury and this eating out, right? Goes from like 3 times a week to 1 time a week. Like, how draconian can you be with your spending?
Yeah.
Right. And then so you've got a plan B. So you already know ahead of time. Like if stuff goes bad quick, you've got already a predetermined plan in place. And if you're struggling to do paycheck to paycheck right now, implement that plan for 6 months. Like do the tough, like pretend. So come up with your what if scenario, and then act as if that has happened.
Yeah.
And actually do it and see so that you can change your financial life.
Yeah.
I love that, right? Come up with the what if we lose half our income? What if? What is that plan? And then go ahead and pretend as if, implement that plan for 6 months or a year if you are behind, if you are in debt, if you are struggling, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and commit to do that for 6 months or a year. Change your life.
Yeah.
Knowing you can change it back.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's this question that has to do. This number 10 talks about how did the pandemic change? Oh, really the pandemic, who wants to talk about that? But the pandemic or an emergency. So they're kind of.
How has a dramatic life event, right, changed how you think about our finances?
Right.
So ask your spouse that. How has X, whatever X is, that dramatic or traumatic life event in your spouse's life, how's that changed how you think about money?
Yeah.
You think about your personal finances, because hopefully you're all growing. We're all improving and getting better. And even as you do that, you'll reframe your past experiences, right? Your present is what determines the meaning of the past experience. You can reframe it so that it serves you and doesn't demolish you. Right. So that's real. I really like that. But how has some event changed your thinking about finances? All right. Number 11.
Do you feel like we're on track financially to achieve our goals? And what are they? You must have them.
Yeah. So again, we want to encourage you to have goals that you are both believing in and committed to and striving to achieve, right? That's just so important.
And it's important to have short-term ones.
And long-term ones.
Right.
Yeah. But ask yourself, talk about it. Do you think we're on track to achieve our goals? I mean, it's okay if you're not, right? That gives you an opportunity to recalibrate, to readjust, to make adjustments and improve your game plan, right? Go into halftime, you're down a score. Like, what are we going to do to fix this? And you need to have those conversations.
Because it's something that you agreed on. It's like, what happened? Why can't we do this vacation? How did this? What? Something happened.
Right.
And life gets busy and then you just didn't talk about it.
So what are your goals? I mean, are you talking about income goals? Are you talking about retirement goals? Are you talking about, big event goals, like maybe, the dream vacation or whatever? But we need to have those conversations and keep adjusting course so we can get back on track. Right. Okay. And then the last conversation question we're going to talk about tonight is,
what's a money habit that I admire in you?
Great question, right? So ask your spouse, what is one money habit that you admire about me? And then, ask reverse, right? But that's a great question.
And really what it goes back to is, what does money mean to me? And, what does money mean to him? So I'm thinking about him, and he sees a big picture. I admire that. He sees that security is important. It is very important. It's very comforting. But so is a big picture.
A vision, right, for the future.
Right, the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
And the thing, one of the
I often just get caught up in the
minutia that drives me crazy.
and I don't want to. I don't mean to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one money habit about you that I love so much is your compassion and your wanting to give and serve and bless other people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I love that about
do.
you.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed these questions.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage you, if you've got some questions, shoot us a comment, drop a comment, down below. Like this live stream.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get better at this. But I like doing this.
It's good.
And really, we want to be an encouragement and a resource for you as married couples to improve your relationship with money and with each other. So
you can change your life. You can.
It's hard, but it's worth
talking.
it.
Start talking. Decide to start to talk about your money.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh, very good.
Very
All right,
good.
everybody. Let us know. Like I said, please comment. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you on the next video.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.